Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Splitgate Weekly. My name is Jesse Gryphon, and I'm going to be acting as a host of sorts while we go ahead and dive into Splitgate 2, going back to beta, the relaunch, and what's to come, what the community is saying, and we're going to address some of that feedback. I am the Live Ops Product Coordinator here at 1047, and I'm joined with our newest Director of Design Director, Josh Watson, and our Product Manager, Matthew Chatzinoff. Um, Josh, if you want to go ahead and begin with just a quick spiel, a quick intro. I see you love Lord of the Rings based on your background, so you can tell us a bit about that. And yeah,
Yep.
we'll go ahead and dive
Yeah.
in.
Yep. Huge Harry Potter guy. So yeah, I'm really stoked to be here. Uh, as Jesse mentioned, I'm Josh. I am the new design director here for the last you know 10 years or so. I've been at Psyonix slash Epic Games, working on Rocket League. I was the lead designer and game director on that game for the last 4 years, and um, deeply rooted in sort of like casual, friendly, competitive games, and just like a huge fan of the arena shooter genre in general. Got kind of my start in the modding community around Unreal Tournament, and was very fortunate to be able to join Epic and Psyonix, both deeply rooted in the Unreal Tournament ecosystem, obviously. So yeah, just really stoked to be here. Really excited to work on Splitgate for the players.
Love that. Matt, we can go ahead and get something from you as well.
Absolutely. Well, hello to everyone. As Jesse mentioned, my name is Matt. I'm the new product manager on the team. My background extends across both product and analytics in both mobile and AAA. I worked at a small mobile games publisher called Big Fish Games on a few titles there, and then some time also at Warner Brothers working on a number of titles like Mortal Kombat and Harry Potter Hogwarts Legacy and some of the Lego games. But similar to Josh, I'm an FPS player at heart. Have been playing Call of Duty and Halo for as long as I could remember, um, uh, dating back to the times of doing uh, Easter eggs in Call of Duty Zombies and playing Rooster Teeth's famous horse maps in Halo Forge from the Reach days. So it's something that I've gotten to watch evolve over the course of my career, and it's really exciting and almost surreal to be able to contribute to a title that is trying to revolutionize this space. And yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. I'm going to go ahead and break down a quick relaunch recap for some of you who may have missed our announcement or last week's stream. Uh, Splitgate 2, we're heading back into beta. We agree with the sentiment, with the feedback that we launched a little prematurely. We had some mistakes and some features, for lack of better words, were rushed. And we agree with that sentiment, and we want to give the best Splitgate can be to you all. So, Splitgate 2, while it will remain online, we're going back to beta. We're working on a lot of improvements for Splitgate 2's relaunch. We're targeting December or January for timelines. So I'm sure there'll be more to come, a bit more accurate description for the timeliness there as we get a little closer. What does this mean now for Splitgate 2 and come to the relaunch? Well, to be transparent, this basically means that there will be minimal updates for Splitgate 2's beta as we work towards this relaunch, bug fixes, updates, and of course, a big focus of ours is going to be feedback from the community, more surveys. That is going out today, actually, on our socials, Twitter, Discord, etc. It's a little long. It's a little lengthy. It's like 26, 28 questions, but we wanted to go in depth and make sure that we can really get an idea of what the players and those who are interested, um, what you're yearning for. That's going to be a focus of ours. Um, with that said, what's next? What is the team working on? We have chapter 1.3, season 1, chapter 3. That's also launching today. Um, and something we've seen a lot of is playlists, requesting certain modes, certain playlists. So, Josh, I'd love to hear some of your thoughts there in regards to just your playlist philosophy.
Oh yeah, happy to jump in. I know we've been diving deep into a lot of feedback across the surveys, obviously social channels, Reddit or Discord. And we often see a lot of feedback regarding our current sort of playlist philosophy, and when we turn over new modes, what we have available, and whether or not that's sort of meeting the needs of the players right now. And so I wanted to sort of address the way that the way that we're looking at this for the beta moving forward, because we've seen a lot of calls for things like party modes in the game, and we wanted to talk about, just from my personal feelings about this, I think party modes are one of the things that really make arena shooters feel amazing and distinct and fun. And we've seen those modes really resonate with players as we sprinkle them into the playlist. Things like Gun Game were very popular when they were up. Obviously, Fiesta, Shoddy Snipes. And so our sort of philosophy here is like, as players have called for the reintroduction of those, we want to make sure that we're meeting players' needs there. So we are absolutely going to be bringing more party modes more frequently into the live game. Just that's going to be throughout the beta. We want to make sure that there's always a place when you come into Splitgate 2 to have that sort of relaxing, fun, exciting play experience that you might not be able to get anywhere else. And that's what arena shooters really do so well. So we're definitely going to be adding more of those modes in. You're going to see them more frequently. We've also heard a lot about the sort of speed at which we're rotating through these playlists. I know there's been a lot of chatter, particularly on Reddit, around the fact that these modes kind of stick around for a week, and it's a desire to have more variance there. So we're looking at how can we speed up that cadence for players so that we can make sure that you constantly have new, exciting things to try out to keep that play experience fresh. And then on top of that, we've seen some conversations around modes like Team Deathmatch having an XP gate, for instance. Like, a lot of people who come into the game, they're expecting to be able to play Team Deathmatch. Our sort of original intent for this, just so everybody understands what we were trying to do by XP gating that, is we wanted to make sure that experience and all the experiences that we present to players right when they come into the game are ones that put the sort of game's best foot forward with the right type of support for new users. And we didn't feel like Team Deathmatch was at that point at the time, but we've heard the calls here, particularly around like onboarding players and making sure that they have the right sort of competition the first couple of matches. So what we want to do is we want to remove that XP gate for Team Deathmatch, so that as you're bringing players in, as you're bringing your friends in to try out the game, you have mainstay modes like Team Deathmatch that you can jump into without having to play games first. So that's something we really want to do. And then I think on the last point, this is like a really, really big thing within the community. A lot of mixed feelings about it within the player base, but we've heard a lot of calls for no portal modes. And again, we want to go ahead and meet the moment and make sure that players have the opportunity to play no portal modes. So we are looking to bring that back as well, so that players can jump into that experience if you just want to have a different kind of flavor of Splitgate 2, or if you have a friend who you feel like you might want to onboard into the ecosystem but are maybe not quite there yet with portals. This is a great place you can sort of jump in and get used to all of our movement mechanics, the gameplay sandbox. So those are some big changes to the playlist philosophy we're hoping to make very soon, so that we can make sure that we meet the players' demands.
That's awesome. And yeah, I think no portal mode is going to play much better than Splitgate 1's no portal mode. Like you said, our new movement tech, our new sandbox. We have launch portals now, slide, a true clamber system. So I really do think our movement is night and day in regards to Splitgate 1 versus Splitgate 2. And I think no portal modes is going to play extremely well in Splitgate 2. It'll feel natural almost, because the map layouts that we have and whatnot sort of cater to that style. And of course, in regards to feedback and level design, we of course will be adding more portal walls to the maps, and we've also heard a lot of feedback on maps that we can make for the future, to listen to the community members and in regards to what they want. So excited for that in the future as well. I love to talk a little bit about community content, so things like Battle Pass, how that's going to impact the relaunch, Battle Pass for the Splitgate 2 beta, and then the other talking points that you may have.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to talk about that. So I think I'll start with community content because it relates to the playlist subject that Josh is talking about. I think I speak on behalf of everybody at 1047 when I say we've been absolutely blown away by the quality of the maps coming from the community, not just visually, but also in terms of how they tap into the arena shooter genre. And a lot of them have inspired us to sort of think outside the box and rethink how we really want to push the genre forward. Um, we've gotten to test a number of maps that really showcase, some of the key characteristics that we think about when we think about an arena shooter, like tight loops, smart power positions, quick, fast-paced, fun play. And so in celebration of that, we want to start curating special playlists that feature these community-made maps. So we can really highlight some of these standout creations. And so this playlist will spotlight some of those maps and offer a different flavor of play and kind of test the boundaries of what's cool and what's fun. And this is just sort of one step in the direction of shedding more light on the depth of creativity within the community because it's something that's particularly important to us, and we want to be a core pillar of the game's design and not just a feature. And so whether you're a seasoned designer or someone that's just getting into map creation, we invite everyone and anyone to submit what you have because it really helps us sort of think about what the community is interested in and help us push the boundaries of what's possible within this game. So yeah, and then with respect to your question about the Battle Pass, as you mentioned, 1.3 is coming out relatively soon. And we want to make sure that our players have sufficient time to collect all the rewards in their battle pass. And so we are planning on actually extending the length of season 1, which includes all of the chapters battle passes, so chapters 1, 2, and 3, up until the relaunch. So all players that own these battle passes will have the opportunity to complete and collect all of the rewards within these passes before the relaunch actually happens, which we obviously will update you on as soon as we have more information.
That's great. Thanks, Matt. Yeah, and
Yeah, of course.
in regards to community maps and whatnot, I know in the past for Splitgate 1, we've done some fun events and challenges. I was one of like the 3 or 5 judges that we oversaw like 5 different maps, and the pitch for the builders was you have to build a map around a tree, and that was really the only explanation they got. And so we played the games. It was a nice, fun stream. So I'm sure we'll be doing more community stuff like that in the future as well, because right now, especially right now, truly community is everything. And so the feedback, any support, it's extremely appreciated.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did sort of mention some relaunch topics that we had below on my list here in regards to like map redesigns. Josh, I'd love to get your idea on clarification of what more portals actually means to us. That sort of stuff. If you have any insight there for like the level design in regards to map work.
Yeah. I'll try to speak on this without hopefully making all the LDs mad. So let me first off, I'd love to clarify on like what more portals means, but I think first I want to like try to give people an understanding of some of our philosophy and some of the changes we made around maps in Splitgate 2. Particularly as we looked at, as we're looking at Splitgate 2 and the things that this brings to the Splitgate universe, we sort of honed in on that. Like we have this really rewarding and fun to engage with sort of movement tech, right? There's this whole sort of movement sandbox that in many ways forces us to reevaluate the type of map philosophy that we had from the first game, right? Because we wanna incentivize the ability to enter that sort of movement flow state where you get to a place where you can chain slides in the jetpack and portals to really traverse the maps in really interesting ways. And one of the things that we in pursuit of that flow one of the things that I think a lot of players are now realizing is like some of that more bespoke portal play from the first game, they felt like it was missing. We certainly feel like a lot of the players have told us that, you know, we got feedback stuff like it feels like an afterthought. And so uh, while that was certainly not our intention, I think as we take a step back and we start looking at the experience, we understand like our interpretation of that. And when it comes out as more portals, what we really mean is like, what are the meaningful types of portals and portal play that we can bring to a map so that you can have really interesting experiences based on the portals, right? And I think some core versions of this are like if you look at something like Eden or you know a lot of the biomes throughout Battle Royale, you see these sort of launch portals, right? These the brand new edition where you're sort of getting that immediate launch and that's a really meaningful way to play with portals that you otherwise wouldn't be able to do. And so there's lots of versions of this, right? If it's you know momentum portals in Ozone, or there's lots of different ways that we can make portals feel more meaningful. And so I wanted to make sure that I want to make sure everybody understands when we say more portals, it's not like our goal is not to just slap portal walls on the entire map and now we have 100 new portal walls and we get to check a box that says we did more portal walls, right? Like I think for
Right.
us, it's how do we bring meaningful play with portals to these arenas, right? And I think we've done it really well in a lot of ways, and there are still places we can continue to push this. So um, I just definitely want to clarify because I've seen some people concerned around this concept that like, oh, they're just going to add more portals and that doesn't solve the problem. And I think we agree with that. But we do want to add more meaningful opportunities to use portals.
Yeah, and
Um,
actually,
yeah,
in
please.
oh, sorry.
No.
Yeah, and actually, Josh, before you joined the studio, we had a couple of open alphas, and some of the feedback was, you know, again, right, there's not enough portal walls, and so we went back and we adjusted the maps that were in alphas, and so we added more walls on Ozone and on Frontier, and they really just amped up the gameplay and made transitioning from one side of the map to the other much more feasible, and we got a lot of positive comments there. So, uh,
Yeah.
lots of work to get done, but you know, more thought out portals for level design and whatnot are definitely high on the list for those who are asking for more portals.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. And I just to jump in really quickly, I know we made a quick pass recently on, you know, bypass and added some, you know, some portal walls in there, some launch portals that kind of change the way that the map is played. And I think those are the types of high impact changes that we're hoping to make throughout. It's not just slap 100 portal walls on everything, but it's like, oh, okay, can we give you the opportunity to traverse this map using a launch portal? Or can we give you some sort of different vantage point that only a portal can do? And so I think we're looking at how do we bring that in with the other sort of uh, concerns and feedback from the players on what those things do to the gameplay sandbox. So it's a delicate balance, but we're certainly looking to make some good changes.
Yeah, it definitely is a balance. You know, you mentioned bypass, and a lot of the portal walls we added are great, and we've also gotten, you know, some negative feedback as well in regards to like a specific game mode doesn't play well with how many portal walls that we added. So I think you said it perfectly. You know, there's a balance that we need to find, and that's what these play tests are going to be for. We will be doing play tests up until the relaunch, showing our new work, whether it's you know level design or something else in the works. So do stay tuned for more information there. Um, Matt, I do have a couple of questions, or rather, your thoughts on cosmetics in the game. You know, we've gotten a good amount of feedback in regards to the cosmetics, the proelium. You know, if you have any word there on uh, basically what you can reveal in regards to you know, any changes that we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, so what I can say is we are actively and thoroughly reviewing our cosmetics and monetization strategy. to make it more simple overall. Uh, to your point, I think there's a lot of complexity right now that could be reduced to make it much more player friendly and straightforward. And our primary goal here is to really make sure that both earning and purchasing cosmetics feel fair and transparent and rewarding. And we already have a few irons in the fire in pursuit of that. I don't want to reveal too much just yet, but I think we're pretty excited about where things are headed and the direction that we're going in. And I imagine that we'll have a separate communication down the line to talk more about that in detail. But I think I and everyone else are very optimistic that players will be happy with where we're headed, because, you know, as has been discussed, we are actively reviewing things and also looking at it in conjunction with what you guys are saying online, because that is the most tangible feedback we could possibly get in these things. So, yeah, happy to share more in the future.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt. We have just a couple more topics to discuss before we wrap up here. Game modes, Josh, if we could get any insight there. We made a decision for Splitgate 2 to shift towards more of like a round-based philosophy, and we've gotten a lot of feedback on that. If you have anything to share in regards to classic modes, any changes that we're making now, if you have anything, that'd be wonderful to hear.
Yeah. I think you sort of nailed it there, right? Like when we moved to Splitgate 2, there was, some hypotheses that we should really lean into round-based modes, because round-based modes do a lot of things that are very valuable. But what we realized out in the wild, right, is that a lot of players that come into this sort of arena or movement arena shooter experience is they're looking for those sort of classic get in and fight game modes, the TDM, the Koth, the Dom. So I think what we've heard that feedback loud and clear, right? I think we made our first sort of change on this front in a previous patch, where we moved some of the quick play from a 5-round system to a 3-round system, and that's the stuff that we could do to make it feel much faster, much quicker. But I think as we push towards this relaunch, we're really looking at that philosophy and making sure that we are meeting the needs for players, right? Like, we put that TDM playlist in, it is regularly one of our fan favorite playlists, right? So we need to make sure that we are giving players what they're asking for. And so our current plan, and obviously grain of salt because we're in active development, but like, our current plan is to move more towards a roundless philosophy around our core modes, right? Leaning into that traditional arena shooter ethos. And I think, obviously there's a place for round-based modes. Some of them are going to work better in a round-based environment, but I think for our core modes, we are looking to push back towards that classic feel. And with that, we also want to bring back some of those mainstays from, like Splitgate 1, that a lot of players have asked us, and like they've been noticeably absent. And one of the main ones, for instance, is like One in the Chamber has been asked for a bunch, right? And so we love One in the Chamber. Like, we want to make sure that we are, bringing those types of experiences again into the party playlist or whatever. Like, how do we make sure that you can have the thing that you're looking for when you come back into Splitgate 2? And so, yeah, One in the Chamber will be coming back, and we're looking at all kinds of these different classic modes and how they fit into, Splitgate 2, and how do we make sure that it feels right for the game that we've built.
Yeah, no, and we had a playtest today. I won't say much, but I thought it was a very fun playtest. Um, with that said, in regards to communication and transparency, I was in a call earlier with Matt today and Ian Prue, co-founder CEO, about transparency, and I thought it was great. Ian was saying, once we have something done and we know we're going to launch with it, he was saying, just tell the community. We don't want to hide anything. We don't want to tease anything. We did that for the initial development of Splitgate 2. Of course, we were trying to keep the Battle Royale under wraps, and now we are going to be much more forward-facing with the community and much more transparent, which I think is going to be great, especially when we're asking for much feedback from the taking the time out of their day to do surveys, to join our playtests. So we're not looking to, jump around certain things. We want to be able to provide you with hard information in regards to we're doing this. It might be the next playtest, right? So looking forward to having that transparency between development and community. And yeah, to wrap up everything, the support for the relaunch for those core players and those who are interested in coming back to Splitgate 2 at some point after the relaunch, thank you. It truly does mean the world. We want to make Splitgate 2 the best it can be, and we need your help with that. So very much looking forward to being a bit more collaborative with the community and the direction of the game. With that said, once again, we do have a survey out right now. The link will be in this YouTube video description. It's going to be posted on our Twitter, in our Discord. If you have any feedback, excluding surveys, while of course we do read Twitter and Reddit, in our Discord we do have a beta feedback section, I believe is what it's called. And it's a great place to not only just leave your feedback, but for people to comment on your feedback posts. It's great to see you speak amongst each other as well, so we can get more insight on these feedback posts. So, as always, thank you for your time. Josh and Matt, thank you guys as well. It's appreciated.
Yeah,
I know the
that's
community
great.
appreciates it. And with that, once again, thanks everyone, and we will see you next time.